And we are live and we are early. Got a surprise for you guys. And it's not Patty, it's me being early. Just kidding. Everybody here, they're going to start trickling in. But I am super excited to introduce to you guys Patti Negri. She is just an amazing soul. She's written an amazing book, which everybody should have a copy of this. You roll deep in Hollywood. You hang out with all sorts of cool cats, one being, of course, Ghost Adventures themselves. I'm sure you get asked that all the time. But I just want to thank you right off the bat for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come hang out with us today.
You're very welcome. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. So first, right off the bat, I do have a question. We touched on it a little bit beforehand, but I do want to know, how is Willow doing?
Oh my goodness, she's a terror. She is fabulous. I forgot. I mean, my last dog I had from a puppy too, and you forget how all-encompassing puppies are. But they, everything. How many toys can you have? How much torn up paper? Paint on your leg. But she's the cutest thing ever. She's smart. She's stubborn. She's great. I just like, oh yeah, puppy. Wait, where is she? Right there. Oh. Wait.
You usually find them teeth first.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is.
Hi, Willow. She's been sweet.
Oh, she is precious. Oh, it's hard to be mad at that face, huh?
It is really hard to be mad at that face, even if they destroyed everything in the house. But well worth it. That's a good baby. And I have to just keep her. She's just a baby. She's a baby.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I've watched a few, and by a few I mean all, but a few times you talk about your actual home. You say that you have possibly, or you do have haunted things in your home, your telephone being one of them. Haha. Now, do you have guests that come and go that try and bother you, or are there residents there, or?
Yeah, I have a resident. I have the coolest resident is a French artist, a lady named Adrienne. The house belonged to her. I think the house is from 1920. She bought it in the 60s, and she was in her 60s. She died in 1998. My husband and I moved in 2001. We did a renovation, complete with a French artist, Ghost. And the house, it's really cool because stuff was here, like in the what was the dirt basement, now is where I'm sitting right now. And her artwork and her, she was an artist of the nth degree, fine art. In the 60s, she was a hippie. So I've got her macrame, her tie ologit. In the 70s, in her 70s, she was a disco queen. I've got all her copies of Flash. It's to her and photos. And so I'm complete. She's great. She's very protective. If she gets mad at us, once we had a flood and we had to move out for a while, she literally took a picture out of a frame. I was like, oh, that's good. I mean, it was a taped up frame with duct tape. It's like, there is no scientific way that this picture could be out of this frame. And it's a big white thing. So she's a trip. And my husband's a drummer. So way about 12 feet up, there's a shelf of drums that you can't reach. A tall person can't reach. We're like 3 feet away. She likes to play the drums. She doesn't quite get a rim shot, but dang close to it. Like, boom. Okay, hi, she's here. She likes
really?
We have sound tracking. We have sound tracking in the house. It's great.
Yeah.
Up at the dining room table, and she have comments on everything. So she's cool. And then I have my doll Belle, this little girl in the burgundy right there. My 105-year-old doll Belle.
Wow.
From my friend Cheryl. Belle's trying to push her off the table, but I haven't even felt a spirit in there yet. She may call one in, but Belle was sent to me from a girl in Belgium. She had seen me on not Ghost Adventures, Deadly Possessions, doing a seance with Peggy the doll, much more haunted doll.
Yes.
People heart attacks. But she had seen me doing a seance with Peggy the doll, and she had this beautiful Belle, who had literally made her sick for 3 years, made a little toddler sick for 3 years, made their hair fall out, and she, unless she had her in a drawer or the shed, Belle didn't like. So she contacted me and said, "Can I send you this doll?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah, I can handle it," and ever since the first, this is how powerful this doll is or was. I got rid of that. I had never, this was a few years ago, I had never ever done a Facebook Live before, not one. And I went, and I was just like, I've got to open box on Facebook Live. And I do know the thing about unwrapping things, but I don't even know if I worked it. There wasn't any tags like that. So I'm just opening it. 50,000 views of me opening this doll box. I get, got 300, not 50,000. It wasn't me, it was this doll. But she had a really dark spirit attached. So I would not let the sun go down. I don't have enough hair to have my hair fall out. I got that spirit out. And then this beautiful little girl spirit started coming in, who I think was in there all the time. So she's like a little 7-8-year-old little girl who likes attention, but she's really sweet. Like if my animals, like cats, at the time I had cats, didn't like her, but then they fell in love with her. If we're downstairs, we could hear her running around upstairs. You guys might, I don't know, she's pretty far away, but you might see her eyes move or her face move or expression move. She's got caught a billion times moving. I had one person doing a photo shoot upstairs in my living room and not paying attention. Belle was just like in the background, sitting there by the fireplace. And my friend was like posing for her tarot pictures. Belle's in a different position in every picture, and nobody.
Oh no, she's posing right along. I love that.
So
that is so cool.
My house was really warded, so I don't let anything dark in. Only one time something rolled from across the street I let get in, and one time I broke my own rules. I was getting ready to do a seance with an AP Associated Press reporter. And she wanted to talk to her friend on the Ouija board, and I didn't do my setup correctly. And we were going to do a thing on the Black Dahlia murder. And all of a sudden, I got slammed into the back of my chair, my dining room chair. It's like, I hear this crack, crack, crack. Nobody's behind me. But I'm sliding down to the floor. And she's going, "Are you okay?" I'm like, And I am okay. I can have my head cut off. It's like, it's a flesh wound. I'm okay. I'm like, not okay. I had to go to urgent care, and I thought I had broken my ribs. It hit me so hard, but I had actually ripped all the cartilage off my floating ribs and ribs. It was my bad. And that got into my house because of my not. But other than that, my house is warded. I had one real scary thing that I gave to Zach for his museum. It was like the voodoo thing that a client had given me, and it was fine because, again, I know how to keep things in line. This is what I do. I know how to protections. But all of a sudden I had noticed that I don't like spending time in my office. I love my office. I want to take it upstairs, sit on the porch, go anywhere else. I'm like, what is it? And I'm looking around. It's not my 100 Barbie dolls. It's not my haunted doll. It's not my all this. And I look at this thing. I go, "Oh, that's you." And so I called Zach and I just said, "Hey, I've got this thing that's too dark for me. Do you want it?" And he's like, "Dark." He goes, "What is it?" And I "Ooh, that's a nail fetish hate god. Yeah, I want it." So here you go. Vegas, here it is. And it started after that night in the museum, which they love. So he put it next to their thing by Bloody Mary. They talk about it now. And so, yeah, anything dark you give to him, that makes him happy.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's where I would dump all of my terribly haunted and dark things as well. I mean, why not? Just call them up. Be like, here you go. Put it in your museum. Makes total sense.
Exactly.
Yep.
I love that. So I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but I am going to ask, how did you come to actually get in contact and or be on that show? I know you did a lot of work in Hollywood previously, and you were well known before then, but just to end up on a thing like that must have...
Just a fluke, really. I was my first episode was in 2015. It was called Haunted Hollywood, and I was literally called in, like they call in somebody every episode because they were doing the American Legion Hall, which I had just done a spirit salon. I'm on the board of the Hollywood Arts Council, and every Halloween time we do this not even a real ghost hunt, just like we're talking to spirits. It's a direct old Hollywood thing. My husband's jazz band plays, and I'm like, I'd seen Charlie Chaplin there, and I guess whoever ran the place told Zach, it goes, yeah, and there was some medium here doing a thing, and she saw Charlie Chaplin, and it was in the exact seat, and I didn't know that. So they just called me up. It was supposed to be one of those that every episode has, that one-off local witness or the local psychic or who's experienced something. And then from that, I don't know. I just became we worked really well together, and I just became the one to come if he needed a seance of some sort to talk to the other side or to feel it out. He likes me to not know anything. He's so careful about that. They will put me in the trunk of the car if they have to. Not really, but blindfolded. And just like, here's the address. Here's, show up, no history. So, and then just, okay, you walk in and you tell us what happened. And because, no hints to anything. So that's what I do. He even did that at the Cecil Hotel. He told me like 2 weeks before, and we're going to LA. And I'm going to call you for something. I need your something. Okay. 2 hours before, he said, hey, it's Zach. We're in LA. We need you. Can you come like now in 2 hours? And I'm thinking, did I wash my hair? Do I have time to put on 2 hours? I'm in Long Beach. Oh, sure. Yeah, I can get there. And he gave me an address. I don't even think he said Cecil Hotel. If he did, I didn't listen. It was like, go downtown. And I land downtown, and you see the sign, and you go, oh, and all I could figure, I go, that's that water tank place. I remember the girl in the water tank. That's it. And it's like Skid Row downtown, LA. And right away, I tried walking in, and a rat wouldn't let me in. This big old rat, and I'm not afraid of rats. I'd go right, the rat would go right. I'd go left, the rat would go left. We're dancing. Either the rat's possessed or else just doesn't want me to go in there. Maybe it's protecting me. I don't know. But you got to move, rat. It's my fault. Oh my God. I had never been in there before. And this place just like the energy just boom, boom, just like, pressure cookie coming in. I'm like, I'm already going into trance state because I allow myself to do that. And then all of a sudden, there they are. Hi. And it's like, they had their cameras already strapped on. And Zach's going, okay, Patti, you tell us where to go. There's 14 floors. There's 700 rooms. Where do we go?
Oh, gosh.
You just have to have faith and whatever. Like, what if you get crickets? I don't know where to go, but, I did. I led them, I guess, to a room that they thought I was ready to jump out the window on. And I was just going, I took them to a room, and I go to the window, and I'm opening the window, and I'm like thinking, I got to get out of here. I was half trance, but he's yelling at me. He's like going, Patti, sit down, close the window. And the part of me that I turn to this little girl voice, I'm like, why is he yelling at me? He doesn't yell at me. Why is he yelling at me? And he's like, sit down. So I sit down, and then they have this little dancing spirit with the SLS camera. And I guess I had no idea, but I'd led them to a room. Somebody had jumped out that window going, I got to get out of there. And they thought I was going to jump out the window.
Oh, wow.
And then I led them to another room. We had a bunch of great stuff that didn't get on the episode of Spirit in the Halls and all this funny stuff with Billy. Funny and scary and everything in between. There's just too much to get. But then I'm to this other room, and I feel myself getting attacked. I'm like, and I'm like covering. I look like an 8-year-old who has to go pee. I'm covering myself down there, and don't go there. And again, Zach's going, what's happening? Where are you being attacked? Right. And the part of me that's still conscious is going, how do you say that body part on television? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what I said. Lady parts or female parts. And I guess I said, led them to a room where a woman who lived there had been raped and murdered, in that room. But I don't know. I didn't get to go to the water tower at all on that. The 2 nights I was there, the fire marshal wasn't there. So I didn't get to. But I've just been with the TFIL guys, the YouTube guys. So.
TFI, yep, absolutely. Oh, man, you go to the Cecil, and he didn't even get to see the water tower. I'd want him refund. I'd be like, nope, going back.
Right.
I know. After all this, I'll be, can I go up to the water tower? He's like, no. And then working with Elton and the TFIL guys, I'm like, I go, is there a fire marshal? Like, we don't have a fire marshal. They're YouTubers. They have no rules. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I love that. That is so. How do you? I know you can't prepare, especially rolling with Zach. You know, you want to keep it as, you know, because you have two halves of your brain, and you can't have them both working at the same time. So how do you prepare for a situation like that, where I know you do it for a living, and you talk about allowing this to happen because you know how to control it. But when you're in a situation where it feels like a pressure cooker and everything is just coming in at you, how do you sort of navigate that current?
Well, again, I work with a lot. I work with intent. I work with my personal guides, how I work with a lot of dragon energy. I always put like oils and stuff on the back of my head. That's the biggest portal on our body, you guys. That's, you know, that's why you bow your head to pray. Oils there. I always carry a helm of awe sigil. That's in the book. That 8-sided cross, to me, doesn't matter what belief system, what religion, that's like sacred geometry. Energy goes in and blows up these 8 directions. So that's, you know, I have one under my welcome mat at the house that keeps out burglars and bad spirits. I always wear a little medallion of it when I'm going anywhere that's scary, and I just know I'm protected. And again, I've known since I was like 4 years old and seeing spirits that this is our realm of existence. They really do have to play by our rules. No matter how bad they are, they only have power over us if we give it to them. So I'm really good. I'm going to give you this much power and not that much. I'm going to give you this much, but I get my body back, you know?
Right. And that's a beautiful thing, being a woman as well, and doing what we do, Marianne and I, Josh, he's not a woman. I don't know if you knew that or not, but,
He's got
you know, we get a lot of comments about, you know, you guys should be really careful, which you should. You shouldn't be doing this alone, which you probably shouldn't. You know, all of these different things, but it's hard to convey that when you're in that situation. No, you don't always know what's going to be there, and sometimes you get sucker punched. But you have it's just the energy that you have. It's a confidence. It's almost like I call it my mama bear. You know, if they start to get ruly, you just sort of, you know, just knock it off. You just don't let it happen. And you don't want to tell people who are dabbling to utilize that, because if you don't do it properly, you're still going to get walloped, you know? So it's always, I find, this delicate dance of, you know, explaining how you do it, but also doing it in such a way that you don't want these, you know, knuckleheads going out there thinking that they can conjure up whatever they want and, you know, poke at it and be okay because they told it to sit down, you know?
Right.
So,
Right. No, that's why I've started, you know, working with people and teaching people, you know, psychic protection for paranormal investigators. My friend Kadrick Olson, he really teaches in-depth stuff because it's needed. So many people get into ghost hunting that don't have any kind of a spirituality background or a metaphysical background or a religious background. They just want to go see ghosts. But you got to figure out who you're going to call if you get scared. What if something happens? You have to have it doesn't matter what your belief system, have one so you can navigate in and navigate out. You know,
Exactly.
You could be calling New Age, you could be calling Jesus, you could be calling your dragon. But you know what you're doing. Have a system. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfectly said. And that dragon, I've got my own because of you dragon thing, but that's a conversation for another time. I mean, it's
everybody
really
needs a
cool.
dragon.
Everybody needs a dragon.
Since I've been giving people dragons, yes, one stopped abusive relationship. I mean, probably many. You know, there's nothing she could do. Broke the LA Dodgers Sports Illustrated curse. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's something to put on your resume.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because I was called in not by anybody to go talk to a medium or a witch. I was called in, you know, the Dodgers 2 years ago, I guess, had won like 20 games in a row. And then Sports Illustrated did this thing. Dodgers, best team ever. I put them on the cover and they tanked. They lost like 20 games in a row. I'm making up the numbers. And all of a sudden, all these sports dudes, it's the curse. It's a Sports Illustrated curse. Well, most curses are self-created. So I went in, we did my Lemon Crossing spell. They have a blue dragon. We charged it. They got to the playoffs last year they won the World Series. We made LA news, which was pretty good, but we made ESPN national, which was
Yes. that is very cool.
Dragons on ESPN. And then a girl got her out of that Vegas massacre at the Mandalay Bay. She was there at a concert. She grabbed her 2 girlfriends and said, "My dragon said to leave." And her girlfriends, "Are you crazy? Not with what we paid for these tickets." And whoever on stage, she dragged them out, and that guy just started massacring people right where they were standing.
Gosh.
So dragons, if we're in this new age of Aquarius, we need something that can fly between heaven and earth, crossroads magic. Angels are great. Angels do 2 things: protection and enlightenment. 2 great things. Bring in the Fey realm. The fairy realm is going to be laughter and music, but dragons shift and change and protection and everything.
Yes. Yes.
Around
And for those,
every belief system, every religion, the Asian dragon, Chinese dragon, medieval dragon, Game of Thrones dragon.
Yes. Particular fond of the Game of Thrones dragons.
I'm doing a Game of Thrones tour in Ireland next year. I was supposed to be there this year, but the stupid pandemic.
Right.
I'm going
right.
to all the castles in Ireland. I can't wait.
Oh, that is going to be awesome.
Tour. I'm going to be doing seances and investigations, and
that's cool.
I've never been to Ireland. I can't wait.
Oh,
that's going to be amazing.
That's going to be wow. That's the start of a lot of different things and stories and religion and mythical entities, and so that'll be interesting to see what you pick up on and who wants to conversate and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know.
That's really cool. And for those that don't know the dragon thing, I'll talk to you guys about it later. We don't have enough time, but it's just a really cool thing. It's sort of like there. Yeah, there it is.
It's so funny because you can get fancy dragons, you can get crystal diamonds or pewter or stone or brass diamonds. I like these 30-second ones because I can't tell you how many A-list movie stars have a 30-cent dragon by their bed, on their altar, or by their computer.
Yep. Yes. Mine is in the other office. I had to move for tonight, but it's just it's a thing, guys, and it's not just a thing that makes you feel better. It's a thing that works if you believe it works, and it works. So believe it works. The end, and we'll get into it. It's really cool. It's
a golem in Hebrew. It's an egregore. It's a servitor. We create spirits all the time. Spirits of success. Spirits, whatever. Yeah. It's
energy. It's universal, and it's beautiful, and it's changing people's lives. So, and speaking of changing people's lives, you talk a lot about just people being asleep, and it drives me crazy too. People are just going through life sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we even use that terminology: asleep at the wheel, phoned in, automatic pilot. I think that's part of what the pandemic, the good part was, it was a wake-up call.
It was. You're right.
Wake up, hit you on the head with a 2x4, go to your room and stay there, and you can't come out until you wake up. What's really important.
No, absolutely. It's
that's true.
Yeah, it is. I see. Let's see. Did you have any questions that popped up, Marianne, or?
Kind of. I'm not. I guess it was more a statement, but I kind of wanted to lead into. I wanted to ask you a little bit about if you could kind of explain to us. I loved what I heard in a video where you explained that you merged certain things together, like you have the whole elements, and then you have you've got the witch component, and then you have some of these other the Native American stuff, and you've got all this wonderful things coming together. How did you come by that? Like, was it just stuff that spoke to you, or?
Yeah, I think again, I think it's just in the blood, born with it. I think I was in the book when I was a kid. I would be out there pulling rosemary and mint and things and stuffing it in my mom's wallet, knowing it would give her more money. That just this connection with plants and knowing the attributes they had. It's just kind of, and I think again, early man, we had all this instinct or intuition, and like animals do. Animals kind of know everything. And again, it's just we modernized ourselves and got taught out of us. But I've always been a seeker because I've always been able to see through the veil. So how come everybody else can? Well, everybody should be able to. And so I've studied religion, philosophy, and my grandfather was this famous, very atheist psychoanalyst who studied religion bigger than I. And everything I study, it's like, if you take it down to energy, there's a through line here where everything's sort of the same, whether it's Christian or it's some new age, or it's an old pagan, or it's academic, scientific, atheistic. If you look at the through line, so again, it doesn't matter what names or words you use. So why not borrow from everybody? I need some Native American. It's like cooking. I'll have some Chinese food mixed with my Italian food mixed with my, my deli.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I've done that. So that translates to me.
Yeah, it does. And I love how you talk about how through your journey from where your awareness sort of started as a child, and how it came full circle after everything back to the magic of being a child. And I just, that spoke to me. I just love that so much. It encompasses just the lightheartedness that I believe everybody on this planet needs, but just not forgetting, like and you're right. It literally gets taught out of you, and you don't even know it's happening most of the time. And that's just, it's like, this is how it is. This is, and it's not the case at all.
No, it's logic is over magic. When they took art out of schools, all of a sudden the math scores went down. Don't take art out of schools. Our modern Western society we've taken the magic out, the mysticism out, and that's just as real as this other world.
Yeah. Yep. It is. It really is. And it just blows my mind. No, you're absolutely right.
And the music, like you said, music being an art, you heard they take the music out, and again, the math goes down.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand. They're not, you've got to take one with the other. You can't just split it in half and expect this magical difference. It doesn't.
I could even firsthand, my local elementary school, right where I live, in the middle of Hollywood, there was a school nobody could send their kids to because it was like the worst 10% of LA Unified School District schools. They'd already taken out art. It was grade school. Horrible. So why would you send your kid there? You wouldn't. You have to go to private school. And my neighbors were going, we don't want our kids to go to private school. We're urban. We want that. So I'm on the board of the Arts Council. We brought in art programs, drama, painting, photography, this making. We brought in some gardening people from the tree people or something. We brought in all this other stuff, drama. They're a school of excellence. We didn't change the math. English teacher. We brought in creativity. We brought in writing stuff. Yeah. And now everybody gets to send their kids there because it's a school of excellence.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful.
And if that's not just screaming at you,
Yeah.
The proof's right there.
The proof's right there.
Right there.
I mean, everybody can deal with would do good with a healthy dose of creativity and magic and childhood wonder and nature. Good God, if I had $1 for every time I prescribe that in my talking of just, what are you doing? Just go out and just get out of whatever you're in. Stop it. Take off your shoes and go run through the mud. Some sunshine. Anyway, we do have a question. So in your career, what has been the most memorable moment, maybe scary or fun?
Okay, I think, and I've told this story a few times, so I'll keep it short. I think I have not yet topped somebody bursting into flames.
That would top it for me, probably too.
I'll tell it quickly, but yeah, I was doing a seance, and it was at a house actually built by Charlie Chaplin, coincidentally. I mean, he built 1 million houses in Hollywood. For all his girlfriends, but it was at a house built by Charlie Chaplin for one of his girlfriends, Mary Astor, and then. So it was a party house, 20s and 30s, which brings in a lot of stuff. And then the Rolling Stones manager bought it, and the Rolling Stones stayed there, Mamas and Papas, Graham Parsons, and then they moved out. Then they moved out after a while. Then the person who invented the real life sex doll moved in, and then he moved out, and then Marilyn Manson moved in and was my neighbor for 7 years.
Wow.
And that's too scary for him. So this house, energy, high vibration people, creative people, somewhat chaotic, maybe somewhat dark people. But this house was like, and it looks like it was built by Mason, sacred geometry. Oh yeah, 12 around here, the stained glass. There was literally a compass drawn on the hardwood floor as you enter. So everything is magical about it. So I was doing a seance, and they just about the house. And I always say it's okay to be skeptic. Try to be open if you can for your sake, but you have to be respectful, because whether you believe it or not, that's when you get into, you have to be respectful. But this one kid was being not respectful, maybe because there were 4 cameras there, or filming, but he would just say smart ass stuff. And if I could feel this one spirit, not even a demon. Demons get way too much credit, but this spirit getting angry. Big in life, big in death. Dead movie stars, dead sports stars are bigger personality than Bob the Quiet Banker. But this one guy was like, and so first cool things were happening. The French doors flew open, everybody's screaming. The producer side of me is going, wow, that's like special effects. We never fake anything, but that's, wow, it happened again. And then the speakers on the floor came on this white noise, and like a spirit box. I was like, wow, they weren't even plugged in. We looked later, but this stuff is building again. There's the pressure cooker, like, and then we're working with a Ouija board, and we're finding out something that happened in the dirt basement back in the 20s or 30s, always the dirt basement. And then all of a sudden the kid said something really stupid, and not him, but the cameraman facing him, right, like straight into his face, burst into flames. Up his back, like a V up his back, like angel wings on fire. 2 cameras caught it. One camera didn't catch it, like hit the ceiling, look at the ceiling, look at the floor. You test the ability of a cameraman by your room bursting into flames.
Right, and correct.
He realized everybody screaming and pointing at him as he's back on fire. So me and Patty becomes a medic Patty, which I am. I'm EMT. I'm like, drum and roll. I'm screaming, and we got it out. Actually, the guy got he was super skeptic. The guy who got on fire, like, I'm okay. He was inspired. He's like, I'm okay. I have a sweater, took the shirt off, the shirt burned off him. The kid got really well behaved. He was not going to be a problem. He was I'm like, okay.
He's
so
like, I'm not next, not me.
But crazy stuff. Like glass flew out of the cupboard, no one near it. All this really great stuff. But the coolest thing is 3 weeks later, the guy who caught on fire, who became a believer, he's like, Patty, look at my back. And he showed me the small of his back, and it looked like he had got a tattoo of a dragon.
Stop it!
Sharp teeth, winged head into the shape of a serpent. And of course, that is the exact energy I called in to shut down the seance.
What?
You have got a tramp stamp of a dragon on the I've ever seen. He was so inspired. He actually wrote a movie script, a horror film about basically this Hollywood psychic medium does every TV show, and then a portal gets open. He wrote it with Stephen Norrington, the guy who wrote League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the Blade series. They haven't done it yet. I hope they do. But if they do it, I sat down for like 5 hours, and they go, oh, Lauren, you can't say that on camera. He's like, but you said it. I go, I know I said it. That opens a portal. You don't want to be one of those cursed horror films, do you? Where all the actors get in a car accident, or things happen.
Right.
The spirits don't know the difference of this is a scripted line in a movie in real life. So let's make these all meaningless words, so it can be just a good scary horror film and not. So I hope they get around to doing it. But it was that's my biggest. I have yet to have somebody else spontaneous combust.
That is so, I love that. That's amazing.
Well, let's hang out for a while, because I'm full of electricity. So.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. This guy here, no matter what he touches in the house, zaps him. It doesn't zap anybody else. It's only at the house, including the water faucets that are not hooked up to, and he'll have shoes on. He'll be,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you affect like batteries and things, or lighting and darkening, or just electrical?
Just the charges. It all started after we were at a cemetery, but it's whatever I touch sparks, zaps.
Mm-hmm.
I've zapped her a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I walked around with a little light bulb when we were doing a stream with Richelle, and I was touching screws, and the little light would light up.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So you might be, superhuman, superhero in the making. Electric.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I can charge my own camera with just by holding it. I'll be good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, if you can coin that, then we'll be in business, my friend, for sure.
Working on it.
Okay, we've got another chat question. Now, I don't know if she can answer this one because there is confidentiality and things like that. But another question from my friend Zach saying, why was the demon house Zach bought in Gary, Indiana torn down? I don't know if you know the answer to that or if you can answer, but.
Yeah, I really don't. I think Zach was so affected by it, and this is what he even says. He was so affected negatively, and so was many other people. Even Dr. Barry Taft has not been the same since. The guy who stepped down.
Yeah.
No. Okay. I think he was just so affected by it. He just decided. Not that he didn't put the pieces in his museum, of course.
Right. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, hey. But yeah, that's all I know. I don't know if there's other meaning behind it or anything like that.
Yeah, that was you see him and he's such a good guy, and a lot of people think that he's over the top, but what they don't understand is that when he's over the top, like, it's legit. So it's actually Josh over there is kind of the same way. If he starts freaking out in a situation, that you should probably run at that point.
Yes.
Right. That's why they're in their 24th season and 12th year. It's like that childlike thing, kids playing in the sound. You are committed. You don't have it dialed down to 7.8 because you're cranking it up to 11. That's why you're going to get it. That's the passion. So yes, people are going to make fun of it. Who cares? Yeah, but it's legitimacy. It's the realness of it. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm always so impressed with them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I don't know if you guys in the chat have read his books. Well, first of all, you should read this book right here. Yes, but Zach has put out a couple of books, and I've got to be honest, when I started reading, I was like, okay, here we go. But I couldn't put it down. I don't remember which one it is offhand, but you guys, I mean, it's interesting to see the progression of where he's come from to where he is. And that was just, that's amazing.
Yeah. He's a good guy. They're all good. They're all great. They're all
it's
fun.
Have you hung out with Scott Grunwald very much? He's one of the people that do scouting for Zach.
Yeah, I have a little bit. I love him because we've done at the museum, his museum, the haunted. We've done a couple things. I think we both did parts of Cecil House, but we haven't got to hang or really do a lot together.
He's hilarious. He's funny.
He's funny. He is great. You got to be kind of fun and a little up the center to be in this business, guys.
Yeah.
Well, he did that. What was it? Naked Paranormal thing for a very short period of time, and that's where everybody recognized him from, was going out and acting like he was ghost hunting naked. It just blew up from there. It was hilarious.
That just sounds cold to me. I'm always cold. Ghost hunting is cold. I don't want to be naked.
It's cold.
You get a chance to hang out with Scott. He'll...
Yes, I will. And yeah, we're getting out in the world again. It's good.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful thing. And you're right. It was definitely like a reset button, I think. Well, the start of one anyway. Clearly, we all have a long way to go. I did have a question written down. I'm sure, being a psychic medium, I'm sure that you probably run into a particular spirit more than one time. Do you have any that when you tune in go, oh shit, it's her?
Good question.
I'm not a one that's like follow me around, or like some like dark one that's like a bad stalker ghost or anything. Not really. What's funny is that in general they know you're coming. That you guys probably even experienced that too. So, yes. But like if I'm going to go do a clearing or something, it's like I always tell the people, if it's however many days before I get there, it'll either pull way back and you won't have anything, or it's going to amp way up and it's going to be worse. It's never just the same. So whatever that personality or whatever of that spirit. So yeah, they know you're coming, or they'll hide. It's like, you can't hide.
Now, are you able to see whether you're watching yourself on TV or through a screen or somebody else's work or investigation? Are you able to see if you're tuned in and turned on spirits that are there as you would if you are actually at that location, or is it sort of like a screen reference where you have to be there and feel the energy and everything?
No, it's just as good. I have a huge on-off switch, by the way. I go through, 90% of my day, if I'm not working, just as non-psychic as anybody. I don't want to talk to somebody's dead mother in the grocery store. I want to get produce,
Yeah.
Right.
I started doing, when this whole thing happened, I started doing seances by Zoom. And I'm thinking, is this even going to work? Somebody's in Ohio and somebody's in New York and somebody's here. We're not around my dining room table or even in a gallery where we're all in one big room, but completely the same, because remember, it's energy. There's no time and space on the other side, and it's electricity or energy. So whatever we're talking through, if it's a TV set, even if it's not talking, or certainly live like this, it's just as much of a conduit as being there. My readings that are like that are just as good as if we're face to face.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't understand it, but it is.
Now, was that a surprise to you when you first started realizing that?
Yeah, it was totally surprised, because you don't think.
Yeah.
But again, if I thought deeper into it, I would go, oh yeah, it's just energy. But yeah, it just didn't work with my logic. But it does seem to.
That's awesome.
Patti, hey, I want to ask you a question way back. Since this is something you've grown up with, at what point did you kind of get that realization? Hey, this is something that I actually want to like pursue as my my livelihood, or like your mission or something.
Never.
Never. Okay.
No, I had the mission, not as a livelihood. I've tried everything. I've been medical. I ran a production company. I still have a production company called Brain Brew Entertainment. We do big production shows, big corporate shows. I always had this side of me, always the psychic side, the medium side, the witchy side, but it was not public. I was an actor, a dancer, but it was not public because I was very corporate. And if I'm working for IBM, Mattel, so-and-so bank, they cannot know that I talk to dead people and run around bonfires naked. They just can't know that. So I kept it really separate. But in 2008, when that big economic crash happened and corporate entertainment became a dirty word and reality TV was already going like this, up, and the shows, everything dried up. Somebody contacted me because I was in Hollywood. Again, I was an actor. I did all sorts of different things. I was already a producer. And they said, Patti, we need you. We need somebody really legit to do a seance on this reality show. I'm like, nope, can't do it, won't do it. Please. We don't know anybody. Please. Nope, can't do it, won't do it. And I'm looking at my calendar with not a show on it. There's not a job on it. And I'm like, no. I go, well, okay. They're begging me. I go, okay, what is it? And they go, okay, well, it's a show called Mobile Home Disaster, and it's on country music television. And I'm like, well, nobody will watch that, right? On CMT. I'm like, sure. Who? No, I had no idea what, again, reality was becoming. So I went and I go, oh my God, this is fun. This had my improv and sketch background. I get to do what I do. I get to be real, completely legit. I get to help somebody, which is my passion. I got to help this little girl lived in a mobile home in the portal that was there. I'm like, and follow you around with 3 cameras. You don't have to memorize lines. I'm like, this is great, but no more. Yes. I'm not going to do it ever more. No. So it aired. Didn't think anything was fun. The very next day after it aired, I get a call from like my biggest corporate client. I work for them nationally. They're, hey, Patti, I saw you on TV last night. I'm like, yeah. Okay. I want to go into the paranormal. I love the paranormal. I go on ghosts. I'm like, oh. And I'm like, I'm out of the closet. I'm out of the closet. Screw this. And so, because I do know television. I do know how to work and talk and hit a mark. I am legit. So I became the person to call for this. And I still have my company, but the others still continue to go down. And, I still have my production company, but I don't even have time to do anything with it.
Isn't it interesting how...
It's never like, I'm going to work this. I'm going to do sessions for people. Never. That was my other private life. I never lied about things. It was just, this was what I did. But the universe had different ideas, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. I'm thrilled. This is way. I love my company. I love my production company. But I remember the first time I was, and again, my thing really is helping people. So my thing was helping people in the HR department to get people to get along within the whatever of the company and the motivation of employees. Now I'm really helping people. But I remember the first time I was walking on stage, I think at a college, UC Santa Barbara. I was doing a gallery read and talking to the kids, and I love kids, and high school, junior high school, college. These were college. And I was walking on stage, and I just sat back. I go, stop. That's supposed to be off. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No
I
worries.
have a phone. See, and that's not even a haunted phone. That's just my landline. I have no control over it. But anyway, I was walking on stage. I'd gone to Santa Barbara, beautiful. They put me up at a beautiful place. And I'm walking on stage and I'm going, I'm getting the same amount of money for this as I got last month for a show that out of the same money, I paid 7 actors and 3 musicians, 2 weeks of a rehearsal hall. I printed the programs. I made the programs. I sewed the costumes, made the props. And, and had to hire the lights and hire the set. I'm going, and this I just get to walk in and help people in a whole different way. Again, I wouldn't give up the other because I still love it. And but this is where I was being led. And it's not about money. I've never ever been about money. I like stuff. I like things, but it was just like, wow, I am so being led here. And so I get to help these 600 kids, even just put on a light bulb going, wow, there's another possibility. Wait, I can take power of my life. Wait, I can talk to dead grandma versus only touch an elbow. Is someone in the corporate environment.
Yep.
It's so true. Oh my gosh. It's a
totally different world. And what a blessing that you have been to other people. You know, you've been able to reach so many people on so many different levels that they are desperately searching for. And that's amazing. That's truly remarkable.
Thanks.
What a gift.
I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I'm lucky. And I just keep going, okay, yes, I'll go. You know, I'm a free will person, but I know there's destiny and there's faith, there's destiny, there's free will, and I'm just dancing on through.
Yes.
And that was perfect timing too. It just sounded like everything was falling in line, just like, here you go.
There you go. Okay.
It did.
Wonderful.
It did, especially at a time, especially back then, there were a few questionable TV, we're not going to name any names, but, you know, it sort of became almost a joke and a laughing stock of that whole community of, you know, well, look at this person on TV who's completely and totally just taking everybody's money and saying these things late at night. And, you know, it sort of put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So it seemed like you just surfaced right at the tail end of that and just took off. And I love that because, I mean, you would have stood out back then anyway, but it would have, I think it might have been a little bit harder because everybody was sort of looking at everything with I don't know about that.
It happens for a reason.
This is a rough profession because literally it's for whatever you call yourself, for every one legitimate gifted person, what healer or they're a psychic or they're a medium or whatever they want to, there's 1,000 sad scam artists who are just out for money. And I helped start American Federation of Certified Psychics and Mediums, where you go through rigid testing, background checks, no upsell. You've got demons attached. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, speaking of demons, we've got a question here. Unknown Ventures wants to know how familiar you are with demonology.
I'm pretty familiar. I'm not a demonologist because I want to create my world that I want to live in. I'm studied enough that I believe I can come across pretty much any kind of demon and know how to deal with them. That's why I study every kind of philosophy and religion. I don't want to focus there because I'm this light and airy dragon and fairy girl. I work with, and I respect great demonologists. I work with Darren Evans, who's a demonologist. He's the Zozo guy. I work with Bishop Brian Ouellette, who also is a demonologist. I also work with Bishop Brian Long. And again, it's a beautiful respect, but I don't want that to be my focus. I will go into dark houses. I clear houses. I've cleared everything from the ghost of Aaron Spelling out of Spelling Manor to the Phil Spector murder castle. I'll go dark. I love to actually dive in and bring the light and bring it out. But if my life was demonologist, like, ugh.
Yeah. I love what you just said there. Gave me goosebumps, and I love that you love to go dark and bring the light out. I love that. And it coincides. We have a small, very small YouTube family here that we're trying to do things different and sort of bring a different perspective onto how you should conduct yourselves with doing this sort of thing. And what you just said, I mean, that's perfect. It's beautiful. I myself also don't really want to go dark. I will if I have to. But everybody that comes from other channels, God love them, good for them. They're like, oh, where's the the flying silverware, and you're not, you should have walked in there, and and it's like, no, you don't have to do that. Yeah. And if you just be. If you just be, then lots of it happens usually by itself. I love it.
If you really want to communicate with a spirit, I mean, if you want to communicate with a person, you're going to walk in and just start screaming at them and expect them to
right.
Really do it. Really? Why don't you just be nice? Hi, how you doing?
Right. Yeah. And if they don't want to talk to you, then you suck. So get out. It's just the way it is. Another question: how do you feel about deep listeners? And I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I was going to say, I'll tell you how I feel about it if you tell me what it is. I can conjure many things. You mean like into spirit people? I don't know what that means, but if Jaffo Fubar can tell us what that means, I will tell you how I feel.
Definitely. Hazel has a question.
That's a good question.
Ed Gain. Only once, when Lady Snake wanted to kill me, I had no idea that was the first time Zach had put us together. I didn't know there was anybody even in the Wagons needs to protect himself better. He's okay. He really does know what he's doing. Yes, he will talk about jumping into the fire. He will, but he has protection. He'll get himself burned a little bit, but he's okay. But he does appreciate that everybody feels for him. So back to Ed Gain. Yeah, I didn't know there was anybody in the thing. I again flew to the museum. He stuck me in a little gypsy cabin and just said, "Okay, tell me what's going on." That's the first time I actually met Father Sebastian. I saw somebody on the floor, the Belle Lugosi mirror. I saw Bloody Mary. It's a girl. It's a woman. It's a girl. She was with some little doll. And then Zach's just like, hey, come with me. And he walks me into this room, and there's this totally cute little unassuming English woman who wanted to kill me. This lady, and she had a shovel in her hand, and the energy coming off her is like, what the? And so Zach's trying to get between us, and he finally takes me out of the room. I had no idea that was Ed Gain's cauldron that he used to cook people in until I saw it on TV.
Wow.
They don't tell me anything. So I just know, okay, then afterwards, oh, she's a witch, but she's a witch who'll work dark. I'm a witch, I won't work dark. And I have no judgment on her. It wasn't her that wanted to kill me. It was Ed Gain. She allowed him into the body, and she wanted to cook me,
Yikes.
I respect her. Her name's Wendy. She's great. We have social media friends.
Wow. Well, your first mistake was following Zach anywhere. When he's like, "Come with me," you'd be like, "No, bro. I know what you're up to. Not today." Misty wants to know: do people try and test your skills, and when they do, what happens?
Yeah, they will. They're funny. It's like, I'm not going to talk until you talk. I say, okay. And I don't need to get tested. Like, what color dress was my mother buried in? Like,
right.
Yeah, but I like to give them something that makes them think it's not just something so general. So if I almost always ask spirit to give me something that they'll go, oh, this person, how would they know that? But if they're trying, and I do that with everybody to an extent, just so they can have a little bit of confidence in me. But somebody just trying to test me, I hate it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so let's do a game show. Right, so,
that's got to get old. That's got to get real old real quick.
If you want to spend all your energy and your time see if I just, what if you trust for a minute? Let me show you that I do.
Yes.
But that's a good
Absolutely.
question. Honestly, that's a good question.
is
Yeah.
good.
It's like, do you
Okay.
go up to your doctor's office and you're like, where'd you go to med school? What is this part of my body? What bone is that called, Mr. Officer? It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, no, that would get on my nerves.
Yeah.
No thanks. So Jaffo says deep listeners that find voices in just about every sound during an investigation. And actually, this leaves really, really detailed comments of voices and things that are heard during some of my investigations that I would have completely and totally missed just in the silence of things itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't have an opinion about that. If they really are deep listeners and they really are hearing the sounds either on their outside real voice or the inside real voice, great. If it's somebody who's just making every whatever into a thing, then you have to pull it back a little. But no real opinion other than that.
Right.
I love that, it being grounded in it.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah, being grounded. Definitely. Eric wants to know, do you go to a coven? And if so, which one, if you're allowed to answer? Do you go or still go to? Looking for a place to study.
Oh, study with me. No, I teach everything. I have a group of a coven that I work with. Again, it's been weird with COVID, but we actually have started getting together. I was with one group, a very eclectic. I'm not like she's Dianic. She's ceremonial. It's thelemic. I'm very eclectic because that's who I am. And the group I was with for years and years and years, we would every month, whoever would be the high priest or priestess, you decide what we do. It doesn't have to be any specific belief system. I'm working with a small group right now. I do a lot of public ritual too. I have studied, my best teacher was named George Derby. He's passed on since then. I'm in Los Angeles, Griffin Cad at the Green Man store. They're traditional British, and he's a great philosopher teacher. Sal Santoro in Burbank, also great friend. All of us have done projects together. He's a more ceremonial magician. He's great, and they're great teachers at both places. And I teach for Haunted Diary every Sunday at 11:30 with Nick. I'm starting a 3-week mediumship course this Sunday.
Really?
Oh yeah, yay! Yeah, a 3-week mediumship course, and no matter wherever you are, if I've never thought I had a gift or whatever, to somebody who's a working pro, we're going to do hands-on enough stuff that it should be really good. I'm excited. And then and that's really inexpensive. It's like $25 a class.
It's ridiculous.
And I also teach every Thursday a $10 class. So money should not be at all. For House of Intuition, that just makes me happy. I do it from labor of love. I just taught a health and weight class. Next week I'm teaching practical magic, psychic development. It's a simple little 1 hour. I do 2 hours of the talking in 1 hour and $10. So if anybody wants, there's lots of ways.
That's amazing.
Like social media.
Go check that out, y'all.
We have to look at the clock because I'm going to have to run away from you very fast.
Yes. Okay. So that was Psychic Diary, right? Psychic Diary, or what was
Haunted Diary.
Okay.
Event. And the other one is House of Intuition or House of Intuition LA whatever, House of Intuition. They're online classes. Again, I post them all. If you even do Negri House of Intuition, Google it. They both will come up for whatever.
Yes, use your Google fingers, guys. Use your Google fingers. So what we're going to do real quick before we get into this, I just want to thank you so very much for being here and just spouting your wisdom and your beautiful words and your light. I really, really appreciate it. You didn't have to. We're such a small channel, and this just means the world to all of us. So thank you so very much.
Oh, you guys are great. Thank you for what you're doing. And you are different, and you are bringing the light, and that's awesome. Honored to be here, really.
Thank you so much. What we're going to do now before you go is if you wouldn't mind picking 4 souls out from the chat that you think could really benefit from your book right here, and I will mail it to them.
Oh,
okay.
Are you pointing at me?
I'm looking now, and I'm just looking at names that are there. Ashley, and again, I don't know any of these people.
That's
Amy,
the case. Amy, okay.
And How many boys? There's any boys? Paul and Hazel, because that's my puppy's mother.
Got it. So Ashley,
right.
Amy, Paul, and Hazel, please email me your addresses. I will mail these out to you, handpicked by Patti herself, her new book. Well, not new, but her awesome book. So congratulations, guys. Patti,
Yes.
again, thank you so much. No, it's really awesome. So thank you for being here, and you are free to go, my dear. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Have a beautiful night, afternoon, wherever it is, wherever in the world you are, whenever you're listening. Out. So thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Bye.
Woo!
How
How was
I
that?
still have chills like the whole hour.
I do too. It's so hard to I just want to strap her into a chair and just talk, just spout it out, because she has got a wealth of knowledge and information and just the energy. Oh my gosh.
Bottle that up. I need some.
So that last part, I'm going to have to get off here shortly as well. However, that last part was sort of sped through. So what just happened was we've got Patti's book, and it's Old World Magic for the Modern World. And she talks about how she's got plenty of books that are this thick that look nice on the shelf, but she doesn't like to read them. These little ones you speed right through, and she's absolutely right. It's no nonsense. It's got a lot of helpful stuff in it. So what she did is she went through the chat and handpicked some names of some people that she felt could really benefit from her book. So she picked out Ashley Marie. So Ashley Marie, I need you to email me your address if you feel comfortable so I can mail you a book. Amy, go ahead and email. And she picked them, not me. So Amy, I need your address again, please, my love. Paul Noel, if you're still here, I need your, there. Yep. Paul Noel, me. Yes, that would be you.
Yep, that's you.
If you feel, I'm sweating bullets here still. If you feel comfortable, Paul, please email me your address, and that's abandonedreclamation@gmail.com, and I will mail that book to you. And then Hazel, which Hazel is a new one. I don't recognize Hazel.
Christensen, was it? I think Hazel.
Is that what it was? You still here, Hazel? Oh, this one. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Christopherson. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, we'll do. Okay, yes, great. So Ashley, Amy, Paul, and Hazel. I've got it written down.
Congrats, you guys. I'm so excited for you.
Yes, and I will get these in the mail. I wish they were signed, but they are not. However, she did handpick you out of the chat, so that's pretty cool.
That's dang cool.
Okay. Does anybody here have any questions for us before we get? That was just...
I think that's the quietest I've ever been on a show.
I think so.
It is. I'm sorry. Were you bored, sweet Josh?
No, not at all.
No. He was soaking it in.
I told her before the show that I'm going to be the pretty face.
Yeah, and you were. I know it's sort of like a hen house. All the girls are chit chatting.
No,
but
not at all. I mean, some of the questions I probably would have started tossing out there would have taken it way out into left field. More of a one-on-one conversation instead of a live show type conversation. Because I was thinking about the gray aura conversation.
I kind of thought that might come up.
Oh, why didn't you? Oh, I wish I would have thought of that. It would have been like, hey, Mr. Skittles over here has a question for you. Darn it.
But no,
Next time.
Listening to a lot of what she was talking about, I was definitely soaking in what she was saying.
Yeah.
But she is high octane too, so it
Woo, she sure is.
It takes a minute to catch on, to hit that wave and be able to keep up with her on that wave while she's kind of... I can relate to part of what was going on because her conversation was going over here, then over here, then over here, then up here, then down here, and
yeah.
So I could,
and I trained him because I'm that way.
I could definitely kind of keep flow with that conversation, but at the same time too, I didn't really research a lot about her. I know she did, and I know she did because we actually took a picture of her right before we went live.
I do. I got a picture.
So I just figured I'd listen, and if anything came up or if I needed to step in, I'd be available too. So And
That's
Scott
awesome.
Grinwald, if you don't know who he is funny. I've worked with him before. That's why I asked her, because
Right.
he usually goes around and checks out locations, and then he'll report back to Zach, and then Zach will come out with the Ghost Ventures crew and do their thing. But I'd rather hang around with Scott than anybody else with that crew because he is just so funny to hang around.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
he actually took one of my pictures I took of him, and it ended up on I think the History Channel ended up using it or something.
Oh,
Which
nice.
is pretty cool.
It wasn't the crazy alien guy, was it? The hair?
No, I mean, I could show you the picture if you wanted to see it.
Yeah, bring it up. You got it?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I hope everybody had fun. That was
amazing.
It was hard with the questions, guys, and there's a big crew in here. It still is. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Kind of weird glare, but.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great picture. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Misty. Patty, everything you say. Yes. Yeah, we are. When we met for the first time, it was like not the first time.
Right.
It's like we knew each other. Oh, that's awesome, Misty. Thank you so much. And I saw that we had a new a member, Peppermint Patty. Thank you so much if you're still here. She does have a channel, guys. And so that's awesome. And thank you, Misty, for that. Hi up from Queen. Wow, we've got people from all over the place.
All right.
Yeah. Good job. It's nice to meet you, Hazel. Welcome aboard. Thank you.
And George TV the fan popped in.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. It was hard to get to the questions. So thank you all for being patient with me.
Yes.
Great questions. Is your email?
Yeah, you did do an amazing job.
Well, you're like so quiet.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean,
Well,
I have my time when I can't shut it off, and I have times where I need to keep it shut off. So this was the time I kept it shut off. If I had my own separate mic, I would have muted it. Just
thank you both for being here with me. Thank you to everybody in the chat for showing up. That was just so much fun, and
that was a blast.
I don't know, maybe I'll see who we can snag next. I mean, channel schmamble. I mean, numbers are just numbers, right? Who knows? Maybe I'll go after Zach. I'll get Zach on here.
There you go.
Well, both Zachs.
Get Zach, and then get Scott in here, because I bet you Scott will keep the other two Zachs laughing the whole time. I guarantee it.
Oh my gosh. Stop it.
Did that just come out of your mouth?
Yeah, that's my attempt at being funny. How'd I do?
Pretty good. I'll tell you what, I'm editing the footage from when you guys were here, and I'm laughing. You got some one-liners that come out of your mouth that still make me laugh hysterically.
Yeah, I could probably think of a few of those conversations we had.
Oh my gosh.
Unscripted, but
yes, it's the best.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my loves, we are going to end this. Thank you again to everybody that's here and who showed up. That was just so much fun. I can't believe that we actually got Patti Negri on here, but we did, and she's beautiful and awesome and had so much fun. So thank you.
I cannot wait to check out those classes, y'all. Those are affordable. Holy
yes,
smokes.
she's
Check
got
out those classes.
My Haunted. Let me get the links real quick.
I want a dragon. I don't know
you
what
need
the whole
dragons.
thing about the dragon is, but I want a dragon. I have a lot of shirts that have dragons on it.
Let me see.
Can I get a Night Fury? I want one of those. They fly fast.
Oh, it's okay.
The guys in the chat will understand why I did not answer that question.
I missed it. Sorry.
That was my one-liner.
Darn it! Here we go. Here. Okay. So let me copy this into the chat for you guys. Again, it is awesome. I'm going to be there. I think you guys should as well. It's very affordable, and it's literally, let me see, I shared, those are all of her courses that she does. The one that we're talking about is actually this one right here. Let me share this link. So this is June 6th coming up. It's 3 parts, so it's going to be on 3 different Sundays. And she is just doing the coolest thing here. Let me get this into the chat. You are not going to get this information anywhere else, especially at this price, and it's coming directly from the source. So,
which when she said that blew me away.
Yep,
that blew me away. You can tell that is definitely
yes
from the heart. Someone saying, "Hey, look, this needs to go out to people who are ready."
Yep.
Yep. What a better time.
So I'm ready to go out.
You want a date?
Yeah.
I ate them all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If you want.
All right, knuckleheads. We're going to end the stream. Go check that out. I'm going to be there. I'm sure these guys will probably be there too. It's just a really cool course, very cheap. The dragon thing, we'll do a live stream about dragons because it is something really cool. Holy cow, Flower Cloud is in the house. We were just talking about you. We were just talking about you. I hope you're doing well, love. I'm getting the feeling that you're going through some... We'll talk. Okay, everybody here, we love you. Thank you so very much for being here. And we will see you guys on the next adventure.